slip. I made sure that I found a way through a cloud of haze. Every day I whipped, found how to live through all them cloudy days. You know the mind's a maze with all its mixtures. It's always hard to get the entire scope of the picture. 1080p, that's you other busters, yeah, obsolete. Can't fuck with me, excuse my French, but I'm not discreet. I wear my heart on my sleeve, but I've learned my lesson. I've learned 1996 birth, one of the greatest weapons untold. I'm destined to reach heights thought I could never see, but foolish thoughts rampage my heart and let me not reach the peaks that's entrusted to me. My belief shatter off past actions. I grieve, but grievance never really matter. It's how I choose to act differently in the coming battles to overcome my limitations and get out my shadow. But it's hard to wade in this water, but it was never shallow. Fuck it, let me get the paddles. Fuck that now, let me get this castle. Fuck that now, let me get this battle.
Hold on. Audio switch. I caught you before you got crazy.
He said, nope, I got this.
Go ahead, you good, man.
What to do, everybody? We back.
Hold on. 5, 4, 3, 2, go.
What to do, everybody? We back up in this thing. Squad Nero Podcast, episode 76. Just to make things a little bit easier for everybody. Appreciate y'all yet again for stopping on by. We've been going crazy with the live, so make sure y'all are tapped in. Hit that noti bell. We be playing all sorts of games just randomly. Most likely Marvel Rivals as of right now, since they dropped that blade. But how's everybody doing?
Tired. Good, but tired.
I feel you.
So
How about you,
when
T?
me and you gonna play fighting games on this stream? So the world can see how
You already,
basuda you are.
we already know how that's about to roll. It's gonna be terrible for me. It's gonna be great for you, but terrible for me.
I'm gonna say this. I went to Hidden Village's event last night.
Shout out to Hidden Village
for their anniversary. When I got there, Black Star was playing Tekken, and
Did you
so,
cook him?
Nah.
I heard he's pretty good at Tekken too.
Oh, he's nice. I didn't have I'm not making excuses, but I didn't have my weapon of choice with me. Singer hitbox.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there playing pad, and it took me a second to get the gist of my movement because I felt very stiff. I could still do some of my combos, but I felt stiff. I couldn't how you say, I kept dropping my combos. So I can start it up 1, 2, 3, but then everything else is just falling apart, and my opponent they just kept falling to the floor, so I just kept dropping. So Black Star gave me that work. I'll give him that, but I'm gonna need my rematch with my weapon of choice. But I did play somebody and I ran him for 10 straight games. He kept trying to get a controller to somebody. Yo, I'm locked in, and I'm like going in, whoa, because I started to get loose on it. So I'm like, okay, I can do a little bit. I can do here. I'm like, oh, so that works. Okay, new tech. So it got to the point where I fought against Genesis. If y'all don't know him, he's a rapper from Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
Dope rapper.
We played Rivals with him a couple times.
This man picked Eddie and gave me the work and took me off the sticks.
That's the breakdancing dude?
No. Yeah, Eddie's the breakdancing dude, yes.
Gotcha.
Senior, all I gotta do is
Shout out to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting by that dude just from straight feet, man. No punches, just from straight feet.
Shout out to everybody over at Hidden Village.
Yes, sir. Shout out Hidden Village.
And AC Outsider, Black Star, DJ, if you know, you know. Everybody out there, if I forget whoever it is, especially Otis.
Even O2.
Even Otis. If I forget anybody else that was named last night, charge my head, not my heart. Just a lot of names to remember.
DJ too. I can't remember her name, but she's going
if
crazy
you know,
on
Desiree.
Yeah.
DJ, if you know,
she
you know.
going crazy.
She nice. She nice with it.
Yeah. Make sure, I forgot to say this. Make sure y'all please like, comment, and subscribe. Catch us out on all platforms as well. Audio platforms for the podcast audio. If you're just on the way to work or at the gym, you want to hear some news and everything like that to stay up to date with all of your hobbies and such stuff of that nature. Tap in that way. We also have the YouTube channel as well as Twitch, twitch.tv/Smooth Entertainment, youtube.com /Squad Nero 716. If you want to tap into us, all right. Again, make sure that noti bell is clicked so that you are staying up to date with all the lives we have. We might be dropping some videos here and there for some manga that we reading or comics that we've been reading that really speak to us, or books or movies or anything of that nature. So make sure y'all tap in, okay?
Yeah, all three of us owe them.
Yep.
We do. We do. We got some Boruto reviews. We got some Marshall King reviews.
Yeah.
Some other things we need to touch on.
Kagurabachi, Gachi Kuda. I've been reading.
Sir.
I'm in chapter 71 in that joint right now. So
Let me know when you caught up. We'll do the review.
Okay. Yeah. It took
but
me,
you ain't fully caught up. It's 160.
Yeah, I know,
bro. Shonen Jump just went up $1, son.
It did.
Yeah, it's $3.99.
Bro, nah. You gotta be on it, and what you gotta do is you gotta do that manga. What's it called? Manga Plus. Manga Plus
is fine.
Hey,
Manga Plus gonna give.
I got a question though. In regards to our Marshall review, what did we leave off on before they went on a hiatus and we said we're gonna wait?
How many chapters is it? And I think I can tell you.
We are at chapter 18 now. We did 7.
Bro, we might have stopped at 8.
No, I think we did. No, we did 11 because it went on hiatus.
Okay. Yeah, then that's
looks like we got
then
work
I
to
feel
do.
like that was the last time that we did it.
So it looks like we got chapter 12 to 18 next coming up.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 19 drops in 4 days. So
yes, sir. So we got some material to cover there.
Yeah, but it's still 2 weeks.
True, but that's the thing. If we're gonna take about 4 or 5 weeks before we actually even start to consider,
this one drops a week apart from the last chapter.
They back on it then.
Hopefully, I pray.
Yeah, so that means we got to get back into the swing of it now that they getting back into the swing of
Finally,
it.
it's taking them forever.
Then Kagurabachi been cooking, so
yes, sir.
We gotta lock in for a Kagurabachi.
Go too crazy.
Listen, I owe an update for Mad. I've been falling off. I also want to get into what's the other one called? Oh, Rob, I keep telling you to read it. It's the first one up here for me too, Centuria.
Oh, Centuria?
Yeah, Centuria. You gonna like it.
Yeah.
You gonna like it, and it's climbing the charts. It was at 20 like a month ago. It's at 9 right now. Ooh, underneath Ichi the Witch at 8 and Kagurabachi at 7.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's another one where you're gonna be like, okay. All of the ones that I've been recommending, they climbing. I don't know whether only one that didn't was Chojin.
I can't talk about them on the show.
Okay.
Them the crazy ones, ain't they?
Yeah, them the crazy ones.
Yes.
Yes, they are. Those the crazy ones.
All right. Real quick, let me go through this news real quick just to keep y'all up to date. This is a new segment that we're gonna add on to the podcast. I figured we might as well do this. Since we go into comics, anime, and mediums of all sorts, whether it be animated content, whether it be live action content, whether it be actual reading and book content for us. So, comic book new releases for this past week was Ultimate Wolverine number 8, Uncanny X-Men number 19, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe One Last Time number 5, All New Venom number 9, Superior Avengers number 5, Red Hulk number 7, Helverine number 9. That's for Marvel. DC, you have Absolute Superman number 10, a big one that people have been waiting on, Poison Ivy number 35, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2, number 3, Batgirl number 10, Secret 6 number 6. Indian Others, we have Something Is Killing the Children number 43, that's from Boom Studios. Radiant Black, that's a big one, number 36, that's from Image Comics. And Thundercats number 17, that's from Dynamite.
Time out. Something Is Killing the Children is still going on?
I guess so, yeah. I didn't even peek that you.
Hold up.
I'm not.
Hold up. Time out though. Time out to your time out. There's another Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe?
This is the one last time too. This is the number 5, so you got a couple issues that you can cap up with or keep up with.
So I've been getting plugged in with some graphic novels. It's one that I actually still need to do a review on. I just finished it. It was by, I don't know who it was by, but here's a fun fact. Brian Michael Bendis makes an appearance in it. Oh, really? In the actual comic book. Yeah, it's a horror graphic novel. And I compiled this list. And I thought that all of these were done. And the one that you just named is on that list. Fam. That's going to... Okay. I need to start finding these and getting these through some sources that we talked about because I was gonna do some other financial investments, and now I think this is some money. This is some moolah.
Yeah.
This is if it's still going. Oh, brother.
This man said I'm gonna buy every graphic novel alive.
Right? He ready.
Save him.
Oh, I need to read more anyways. It's just good. Like it's for anybody out there, I'm gonna tell you this. Find a medium that you like to read, whether it's just a straight up book, whether it's a comic book, whether it's a manga, whatever it is.
Just read.
It like, bro, because the way that you can get invested into it, it's similar to like a television show or movie, but it's got its own differences. It's got something about it where it's like it's so enjoyable. When you find the one that you like, you locked in. Like, and it's like a movie, but it's longer because it's gonna take you longer than a movie to get through the whole thing. So it's like, imagine if you got to watch your favorite movie, but it's like 40 hours.
You got some time. You could take a break real quick, let it sit upon you and everything like that, and then
give
go
you
back
something to look
it.
forward to too. Because like, say the only time you could read is at night. It ain't nothing on Netflix, ain't nothing else out. You could read that, pick up that book, pick up that graphic novel and read it. And now you looking for where you leave off at, either if you fell asleep or if you just said you was doing a chapter a night or whatever. You looking forward to that. It's gonna make your next day a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. Read, children, read. That's my reading rainbow for the day.
Not even just the children, the grown adults too.
Grown adults, we can read. We can read.
Yeah, don't let the AI speak it to you, nigga. Read.
Yes.
Nonetheless, keeping up with news, we got some comic book movie news. Daniel Kaluuya is developing an animated Spider-Punk movie for Sony, based on Hobie Brown from Across the Spider-Verse. The film will explore Earth 138's punk superhero scene.
Hey.
I'm curious to know more about that.
I am too.
I got something to go along with reading is fundamental. What we were doing just a moment ago. I feel like this is right for this moment.
Is that all you got, nigga? Oh no, nigga. That's just the tip of this iceberg. Read, nigga, read.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that kind of popped in my head when I said it that way.
Yep, same here.
Oh man. All right. Thank you. We appreciate that. We got some other ones too. We're gonna expand upon some of these, and some of these all right, we're gonna expand upon some of these topics. Avengers Doomsday teases Josh Brolin, says he's ready to return as Thanos. If the Russo brothers call, rumors swirl about Thanos variants appearing in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars now. We got Battlefield 6 beta released this weekend, open. I got to play a little bit of that, so that was very fun. Xbox handheld leak, which I'm pretty sure they already talked about this, but the ROG Xbox Ally handheld console is rumored to launch within 2 months, with pre-orders expected soon.
What the heck?
Right,
they only got one. They only got one novel, one issue up here.
What for?
Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe one last time. Like,
it probably just started.
No. Yeah. They're on issue 5. They only have issue 1 on the Marvel Unlimited.
Oh.
Yeah, because some of them with that are like more recent, they wait for a little bit. That's why I don't like Marvel Unlimited.
Yes,
really like that.
he's right. You gotta wait a second before it. That's why you gotta go to the.
Yeah. I tried to read like the Ultimates, going into depth about the Ultimate, I guess, Avengers. Yeah. From after what's going on with what is it, the Maker and all of that jazz of that universe. But yeah, some weird, interesting news anime wise. Oh, what is it? My Melody and Kuromi. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that. Dominate Netflix. The stop motion anime My Melody and Kuromi debuted at number 2 on Netflix's non-English chart, just behind Squid Game, and racked up over 11.8 million hours viewed in its first week. If you have the opportunity to see that, I don't know if it's
what is it about?
No idea. It's just one of the news that I was able to pick up on. So if you are
Okay.
tapped in, it seems like you might need to get like a VPN to have your server come from out of the United States in order to see it. I don't
Okay.
know. That's what it's in. That's probably why we haven't seen it on Netflix, because it
Gotcha.
said number 2. Like, I've never seen it. Jujutsu Kaisen sets Guinness World Record. Jujutsu Kaisen was named the most in-demand anime of the modern era, earning a Guinness World Record. Studio shakeup. ReZero faces uncertainty after its animation studio White Fox was acquired, raising questions about the franchise's future. I don't know if y'all know about ReZero.
Yeah, I do. Bro, that's why you gotta have a strong story.
Mhm.
Cause that's the thing about ReZero is it came in it grabbing enough attention, but the staying power.
Mhm.
And now if they switch in studios, I don't know if the studio is looking at the stats for it, I don't know if it's something where they'll be willing, like they'll be willing to go forward committing to that. Because I mean, artistically, I don't know. It's one of those things like, bro, this stuff be costing a lot of money. So it's like you really gotta kind of show that you worth it. You know what I mean? Even if you a decent show, that might not be enough to save you. You gotta really, and I like the story for ReZero, but you can't just be okay or mediocre, especially in a situation where a studio about to flip or sell, because that could be it. That could be it. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Crunchyroll Summer Sale. Crunchyroll Summer Sale is in full swing through August 27th. Week 2 added 1,000 new discounted items, including manga box sets and collectibles. So make sure you tap in on that Crunchyroll
Oh, that's
sale.
cool.
Yes, sir. Gateway anime nostalgia. It seems like there was a trend on Reddit where fans were sharing their gateway anime the shows that made them fall in love with the medium. Shows or movies, because popular picks include Inuyasha, Spirited Away, Naruto, Death Note, and Attack on Titan. Since we're here, real quick, just ask this question for y'all. What was y'all gateway anime? Y'all gateway into anime? Which one really caught y'all attention growing up?
Quick, easy answer for me: Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
That was the one. Toonami, Dragon Ball Z. It was like, what is this? This does
Mhm.
not look like cow and chicken.
Actually,
This does not look like Samurai Jack or no. I think this is way before Samurai Jack.
Probably around the same time, wasn't it?
No, it was way before. It was like 3 years. I
Oh,
started
that's
watching
Dragon Ball when
Dragon
he was
Ball
a
Z
kid.
young.
When he was
Like,
a
bro,
kid, and Piccolo was a villain.
like Dragon Ball low key might be one of my first memories.
So-
It was, yeah.
so here's the thing: Dragon Ball Z didn't air on Toonami first. It was actually on Fox. Because I remember watching it on
Oh,
Fox
yeah,
a
you-
long
you
time
old.
ago.
Yeah,
What-
yeah,
yo,
no,
where you gonna
I'm
say that, though?
sorry.
You gonna-
That's your
you gonna-
that's it. That's your old card right there. Cause I wasn't even a thought when that was on Fox. Sage and I weren't thoughts. I just want you
Not at
to
all.
understand that. We weren't thoughts yet.
Bruh.
I'm sorry. You can't say no old man statement like I was watching it on Fox.
I
You
was a-
can't do it.
Before
I was a
Toonami was
child.
ever even thought of.
That's crazy.
That's like when your uncle or your dad be like, y'all don't know about Bob Cousy. That was the Bob Cousy stat
Mhm.
of anime. Y'all ain't watch DBZ on Fox. Back in my day,
Nah, that
we's had to.
But here's the thing: I didn't see I watched one episode, and then it was I don't know where they were. It was in space or something. I don't know if it was like a non-canon story or it was a movie playing on Fox. But when I started seeing on Toonami, I'm like, oh, same character. I'm here.
This is where it's
I'm
at.
here. Because
Spirited
initially
Away probably-
it aired back in '96.
Oh yeah, that's when we were born.
Yep.
So
I wasn't lying.
sounds about right. Yeah, sounds
Yo,
about right.
Krakow, screw you.
Dragon Ball was probably it if my memory either that or Naruto, but I think Spirited Away really was the one That really got to me for whatever reason. That I think is No Face.
Ghibli.
I think
Yeah.
Ghibli
yeah, for
films.
whatever reason, No Face, he scared the hell out of me when I was a
Yeah.
kid. So for
Really?
whatever reason, I never got to finish it until I got to the point where I'm like, this is just an animated show. Just let me, or animated movie. Just let me watch it.
Yeah.
Then I watched it and I was like, hey, this one is heat. And then I started watching Naruto, Dragon Ball, all of that jazz.
Miyazaki being your introduction in the anime is like you gonna be an anime fan. You gonna be, cause you getting.
I'm just
Just
saying, Spirit of the
gloriousness.
Way is one thing, but Princess Mononoke?
Ooh, if that was like, yeah, Princess Mononoke was your intro in,
Oh, that wasn't my intro.
you an
My intro was,
educated anime
my intro
fan.
was Dragon Ball Z, but when I went
Yeah.
deep into the waters,
In the Miyazaki, yeah, yeah,
I
bro.
started becoming a cultured swine, not an uncultured one.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely agree.
All right. If you got any, what is it?
That's when I leveled up from a nerd to a
Okay,
blurred.
this is kind of
blur.
in, yeah. This is kind of in line with the news that you were given. I do believe that this came out recently this week. I do want to have a larger discussion with you guys about it, and I will give the basis of that after explaining it. But that new anime on Netflix, not the one you mentioned, Sage, but I think it's called K-pop Demon Slayer.
Oh, yep, I heard
That
was a movie.
was yes, that is being, I believe, considered for the Oscar, like through the Oscar committee. I think that's the right word.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Now there are people within the anime community, including myself, who are starting to notice that Chinese animation is getting slated over here in the States because another movie that came out this year was Neza 2. If you have not
Mhm.
seen Neza 1, I would recommend you go see Neza 1, and Neza 2 is just as much heat, if not more heat. I just got done seeing it recently. I'm not going to lie to you. If somebody said that the animation in Neza 2 by the end of this year is better than the animation in Demon Slayer, I don't know if I would be mad at them. That is how hard, and we already know how Demon Slayer about to come.
Mhm.
So this is a bit. This is one of them statements from me. Like, okay, this must really be. It is like China put they foot in Neza.
Yeah.
It's very childish. It's no, like, bro, you gotta, you have to watch it. Like, you can't just hear me say that and just like trust me. You have to watch it and be like, okay, I actually do either agree with me or disagree. It's really childish, but bro, it's so good. Like from the moment you start, and it's long. It's like 2.5 hours. But it's like from the moment you start watching it all the way to the end, you're just like locked in. It should be nominated for something. If nothing but the animation, it should be nominated for something. So there's a lot of people within the community, the anime community space, that felt like, yeah, you know, the only reason why Neza hasn't been considered or probably won't be considered is because it is a Chinese animation. Yeah. We'll have a larger conversation about that because we got to talk about China. Yeah.
The Cube joint too. I can't remember the name of it.
Hey, don't
Bro,
talk about
Super
China
cute.
too much. Trump may not like us no more.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Next thing you know,
Americans, I'm not gonna
you're
lie.
banned. Yeah, honestly.
Deported. All right.
Can't even
Let
compliment.
us know. Let us know down below in the comments, wherever you may be, Twitch, YouTube. What was your gateway anime? What got you into anime? What show, movie, series got you really into anime? Open up the doors for you. We are interested to hear. Nonetheless, that takes care of our news section. I know we had some things like Battlefield 6 beta, Blade releases on Marvel Rivals. We can kind of, I guess, hold off on that, I guess you'd say. Or just go into it quick later on down the line. We did have the weapons. Let's do weapons first, and then let's do the Bow de Mayo because we're gonna do Marvel DC together, and then we can end it off on Dan to Dan. That's good,
Okay.
everybody.
All
All right.
Yeah. So I got the opportunity to see Weapons this weekend. I'm a super horror fan. So when these movies do come out and I hear that they, have been getting a lot of buzz towards them, if I can see them, I will try to. I was able to slip it in. I was very
Hey,
pause
yo,
needed.
hold up.
I said it before you can say anything. Said it before you can say anything. Said it before you can say
Yo.
anything. But no, it was my girl's birthday this weekend. So I did not think that I was gonna be able to see this movie, and then work really made me think I wouldn't be able to see it, but I was. And
Did you see it by
I
yourself?
liked it. No. We saw it together. Which was also like proud of you because she hate horror movies. It was T, I like the way you phrased it. I didn't know how to phrase it before, but you summed it up perfectly with how you said it. It is very unique in that it has a Tarantino-esque writing style. This is not something that I'm used to seeing with a horror movie at all. So it was very unique and very refreshing to get a unique storytelling method with a horror film. The story is very unsettling. I'm not going to spoil anything. I promise I'm not. But the story was very unsettling from the moment you start it to the moment it ends, which is really good. I mean, when you think of a horror movie, it's supposed to kind of make you feel uncomfortable, right? Like if it's have any level of good to it, it should feel some level of uncomfortable. That's going all the way from your movies like Terrifier. Terrifier is a movie that makes you feel uncomfortable, but it's a completely different type of movie from this movie. But you want that uncomfortability. Also was a lot of tension. Tension was another one where it's just from beginning to end, which is really cool because with that writing style that was used, there were opportunities where they could have lost that build up that they had with the previous section that they had in the movie, and it doesn't. Even though you go to this what is essentially this completely new part, the tension from the previous part continues over into the tension into the new part wonderfully. I really do give the person who wrote this movie a lot of praise and credit because it seemed like there was a lot of opportunities where it could have gone bad and it didn't. One thing to speak on something that I didn't like about the movie, I guess, which this is the only thing that I really could say, is it left a lot of questions. The director said that, he did want to do something else in this world, but he didn't say whether or not there was going to be a sequel to this movie at all. You don't have to have a sequel with how it ended, but it does leave a ton of questions. And some people just don't like that. They don't like when movies leave you with a million questions at the end. I will tell you in advance, this is one of those movies where it does leave you with a good handful of questions. Everybody's acting was great. I literally don't think that there was a single. Yeah, there absolutely wasn't. We know that children are in this movie. Put it again without trying to spoil anything. I'll just say it like this: the children acting in this movie it was good. It was real. Like every single. I can't think of one that had bad acting. Every single person killed it in this role or in this movie. Which is always great to see. It always helps a movie when you can have that. I was telling y'all off mic that the volume was a little low. I don't know whether this was my theater or the movie. I need to talk to somebody else who's seen the movie to see. I just don't know who has yet, but I need to talk to somebody else that's seen the movie to see whether this was something that was actually in the audio of the movie or not. But I didn't like that.
I just came across something. Weapons director calls his upcoming Resident Evil movie a love letter to the games. I'm now looking forward to Resident Evil.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I just want to learn a little bit more, but I did see that too, T. There was.
Oh, my bad. Supposedly, I think it was the director. He wrote it Yeah, film written by Zach Krieger. He actually released Barbarians, if I'm not mistaken. If you're
Yep.
familiar with that movie,
Barbarians was a good movie too.
Okay.
on the set, post production set, one of his friends actually passed away
Mm.
on the set, and that's what sparked
Oh
him to
wow.
actually write Weapons to deal with the grief and everything like that.
Oh, great! Now it makes it the movie.
Wow.
Mm.
I wanted a bit. I'm gonna tell you this. I could not see that influence in the movie, but grief, strikes everybody in
I'm gonna say
different
this.
ways.
I don't know how I
So
feel about that because if y'all remember the movie Poltergeist, everybody perished after the movie was made.
Yeah.
yes.
Really?
No, yeah, it
Mhm.
was it was dude, some people on set, people after the movie. That was a mess. Um it was a little it was I mean, I really just don't have that much bad to say about it. It wasn't, but the thing is, even sometimes not having something bad to say doesn't mean that like a movie was perfect or that the movie was like extremely spectacular. It it was kind of like it was a cool movie, but it wasn't to me personally. I know a lot of people might not agree with me on this. We've had people on our podcast that think this movie was subpar. But a movie that really got me this year was Sinners. Like Sinners had so many different elements to it that personally I was like, this is beyond just a horror movie. Like this is a work of art. I was blown away by Sinners. I would not say that this movie was one where it necessarily blew me away. It doesn't really have any element in it to blow you away. It just is a good movie, like it's a movie that's written well. It's a movie that tells you what it's going to tell you, talk to you about in the beginning, and then it ends. It's a complete story. Though it being a complete story, it does have questions, but there's no magnificent aspect or anything to it. To me personally, it just was a really good movie with a really unique writing style. um Rating wise, I give it an 8 out of 10. Which, if I watch it again, that could possibly go to a 9. I will say that as a disclaimer. I would need to see it again, though. But at my after first watch, 8 out of 10.
Okay. All right. So tap into that Weapons. I'm pretty sure mostly everybody else in the pod will watch this movie at some point in time.
Yeah, you
If
should. You
it
definitely
comes
should.
if it comes back around where we want to do a spoiler based review of the movie, then we'll do that. But you heard it here first. Croco's Corner gave his 8 out of 10 on the Weapons. Seems like it's a good film, at least enough to be able to spend that money and go see it in the theater. So make
T
sure you
gonna go
tap
see
in.
it.
Yeah. And then tell your local Regal or AMC theater to turn the fucking volume up on that thing.
If it might have just been mine, though. I don't want people to think like, oh, here we go, one of them low movies that I can't hear nothing in. That don't necessarily got to be the case. It could have just been a maintenance issue from my theater.
It could have been. We will find out though. All right, so let's get into this because I'm getting tired. I'm getting sleepy. Let's get into this Bo DeMaio tomfoolery, and then we got a DC leak
He
as
already
well.
gave his opinions.
Tomfoolery. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. Real quick, to those asking why I'm not so hard. If you don't know who Bo DeMaio is, he was the writer, I believe, and producer for X-Men '97. The rebooted version that just came out. I believe he also wrote a portion of season 2 as well before he was fired. Due to some shenanigans that he was doing, possible shenanigans that he was doing on set with some of the people that was working there. So those asking why I'm not so hard on Superman, the answer is I've never worked with Gunn or DC. Like Matt Shackman, I believe is what he was trying to write. And the writers of Fantastic Four, I've sat in the creative meetings at Marvel Studios. They're horrible. You basically sit in a room with Kevin Feige and Louis D'Esposito and try to pitch your movie while also realizing that Kevin just wants you to dictate his rush thoughts Victoria used to be in these, but Kevin and Lou had so mistreated her that in one of my Blade meetings, she just showed up with sugar cookies she'd baked to help improve morale. You're even told not to try to pitch ideas from the comics because Lou isn't a big comic guy and it'll turn him off. You sit and talk about craft and story and characters only to have Kevin and Lou say, yeah, well, all we need to do is make sure it's fun, and etc., etc. There's no spark, there's no vision. Marvel is a slaughterhouse factory where you watch fresh meat get spoiled as it slowly makes its way through the assembly gears of mediocrity thinking, or I'm sorry, mediocre thinking and this weird hatred for their own product. This is why Robert Liefeld isn't just some bitter old man talking about the comic book writers is met with open content. Robert Liefeld is one of the main or one of the biggest known writers for Deadpool, and him and
Mm-hmm.
Marvel have
Yeah.
had some issues since that Deadpool versus or Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I had to fight to get the Luwalds involved on X-Men 97, and even then the dismissive news with which Dana Vasquez Eberhardt spoke about them, basically telling me the OG creators were meant to be seen, not heard, to appease fans. I wanted to co-write an episode with them, and that was Dana's response. I even remember wanting to talk to Chris Claremont and being shut down, or wanting Joe Madureira,
Madeira.
Madeira, oh, there we go, thank you, to do posters, just as I was scolded for being too friendly with fans or coming off too much as one. This was in a meeting where I was pitching that we could use Blade as a chance to pick up the dangling threads from Doctor Strange when it came to Wanda and the Dark Code. We could use Varney and the Darkhold cultist. One of my drafts opened with Deacon Frost tricking some British explorers to trek up to Mount Wundagore, where he does blood magic to reveal the vampire spell used by Varney and his followers during the days of Kull. It start trying some of these threads together. I even had the same monsters from Doctor Strange show up to kill the explorers before Deacon reveals he's a vampire and kills them, up until the point he'd been covered against the cold and daylight. This was set before Doctor Strange 2, so a lot of the stuff played ironically, while also having Frost give us more details about Chthon, who we only glimpsed in Doctor Strange 2. To Kevin's credit, he liked the idea as well as my pitch that magic is to Blade what snakes are to Indiana Jones. He hates magic. But then Lou felt it was too comic book, while Mahershala bumped on there being magic in the film tonally. And then I watched as them and Nate Moore picked it apart, and we were off to a new draft. It's a broken machine, and so I can see where Matt and his team probably had great ideas, only for Marvel's arrogance to destroy them. And it's a couple reasons why I'm kind of iffy about this. It seems like it's easy to dunk on Marvel right now, especially when their numbers just aren't coming as most people, the general public, would feel. But I feel like it'd be a different story if Marvel one was like running around with his chicken with like a chicken with his head cut off and just stressing and everything like that. From their point of view, it doesn't seem like they are. It seems like, and I could be wrong, but the last couple of films, outside of I guess Captain America, they took more of a comic book approach. They took more elements from the comics. I also don't know if Bo DeMaio is the person that I should be fully believing after all of his debacles, which could be wrong. Supposedly he has a lawsuit right now against Marvel. I'm guessing for wrongful termination for him firing him. So I don't necessarily know. And then lastly, how do you know that James Gunn or DC doesn't have the same toxic work environment as Marvel? I'm not sitting here saying that Marvel doesn't have a toxic work environment. Most of the places, hell, our jobs are probably have a toxic work environment.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel, a multi-million dollar company that's backed by a multi-billion dollar company, doesn't have a toxic work environment. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. Also, I just don't know if James Gunn or DC are just these good people that don't have issues as well behind the scenes. You know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But how do y'all feel about what Bo DeMaio has been saying?
Well,
Okay, so here, You can go T.
I was gonna say like I can see where he's coming from because when you got people like Tika Waititi doing Thor: Love and Thunder, and people have confirmed that they do not read the source material, and Disney does not want them reading the source material. This makes sense. It makes sense because you can tell they do not read the source material. Some Marvel shows fall flat on a daggone face, and it hurts to sit there and watch them. You have the material in your face. You have over 60, 70 years of comics in your face, and you don't want to use them. I get it. Sometimes you need to go off script, but not for a whole movie, not for a whole TV series. When someone's pitching you comic book ideas from the comics to blend in perfectly to what you already have, use them. Some may work, some may not. Don't fall off because let's make sure it's fun. Sometimes we don't want fun. We want accuracy and we want entertainment.
I think, and before now you go. I think oddly enough, the first couple of phases of Marvel actually opened up the door, and I want to say anime as a whole has probably opened up the door for content to be more wacky, more out of the ordinary. Where I guess you say those first couple of phases of Marvel, they were trying to kind of like the Ultimates universe, have it be where superheroes. What if superheroes were here in our actual world? Have it be realistic, all of that jazz. Probably not go into the cosmic element that much or anything like that. And now that's opened up the doors for now more comic book uh based movies like a Superman, I guess you'd say, or like a Fantastic Four and all of that jazz. But um maybe just wasn't the time before. Maybe now is the opportunity. Maybe now they see it. But how you feel now?
Well, before I go, I need Peter Parker, Spider-Man to come into this room and like save me
Fuck
from
up a
these
bug?
mosquitoes. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, these mosquitoes is just I don't know. I think we got an outbreak in this city. I know for a fact we did earlier, and I think they won. We lost. We lost. Whole city lost. Just to all right, so I kind of have a mix of both of your sentiments here. I do think that I do think that a lot of the things that he said in that tweet, there's more reason to believe that he wasn't saying it from like just an angry stance or a screw Marvel. And that part, I'm gonna be honest with you. It ultimately, I think that like they're if that is the case, like the idea of staying away from the comic books and the source material from the comic books, if that is true, I do feel like that will be an ultimate recipe for disaster. I almost like really hope that that's not the case. I've spoken very highly on this podcast of Lou D'Espacito because at least recently, some of the things that had his name on it, it actually did seem to come out pretty well. Loki, Daredevil. I can't think if there was another one. There might have been another one, but it was actually pretty good stuff that he was the executive producer on. I'm not even sure if I saw Kevin Feige's name on it, and I personally did enjoy it. So him being completely like screw the comic books was very shocking for me to hear. And I mean, look, man, like even with me liking some of the things that it looks like he took the lead on, if that's his attitude, I feel like at some point that's gonna blow up in your face. Because there are some comic book stories that like
you need.
I'm not saying every single one. Not even that you need to, but like it would significantly help you. I'm not even saying it has to be a 1-to-1 to the comic book, which I think that's what DC is starting to get. Is that I don't think it has to be a 1-to-1. But I do think you need to have a basis that comes from the stories that come from those comic books. Like what we saw that happen with in Ragnarok with the Hulk. Now, granted, that's a little bit more difficult because they don't fully have the rights for the Hulk. So that's already going to kind of morph exactly what the Hulk is going to look like. But, you know, when you talk about stories like World War Hulk, right? Or World Breaker Hulk, these is characters where it's like, I'm not saying you got to go 1-to-1 with this story, but you need to, the whole point of those characters and the stories that those characters are from, you want to at least keep that essence. You know what I mean? You don't want to take that away and tell a completely unique story. So I really hope that that's not true, but I do think that there is some evidence in what we've gotten from Marvel to say that Bew might be correct. And that's a little concerning for me. The other part that was kind of concerning for me, based off what he said, was the attitude in regards to it just has to be fun. I know you commented on that before, T. That isn't exactly, and that kind of goes into the point that Rob was saying, is like, yes, anime and some Japanese anime as we know it, and some American anime have given a little bit more credence to the idea of you being able to be quirkier and wackier and the sort during your in whatever story you're trying to tell. But that people get tired of, you know what I'm like, you get so far in the fun that you could have possibly made something that even could be critically acclaimed, but this attitude of fun maybe was preventing Marvel from getting to the step of making a film that could be looked at on that level. Fantastic Four seemed like it was a step away from that direction. I will be completely honest about that. That was one of those movies where I was like, okay, this feels like it's opening the door to Marvel making a really compelling theatrical piece that is centered around comic book characters. It really felt like they were busting open the door with that. But if the attitude doesn't stay within that realm, then what are you to do? Like Blade, as an example, you could possibly make a Blade movie that could be critically acclaimed. You know, you got a Marshall Ali as the lead actor in that series. That's maybe one where you shouldn't look at it and go, it just needs to be fun. I don't know. It just does make me worry. Another part, this is the one I was trying to remember at the very beginning too. I do think that you might be right about the idea of the separation with the actual original creators of the characters in the series. You have a rare opportunity in time where the people who made these things on that work, some of them made the character. Some of them worked on the character for 20, 30 plus years. If you have an opportunity to work with them while they're alive, it's really bizarre to me to not want to work with them. Like, if you're making, look at, okay, perfect example. We were talking about him earlier, Stephen King. I'm glad that Stephen King is around to give input on some of these Stephen King movies. I like the idea of him being around for it. I don't think that necessarily means that it has to be a great movie because Stephen King was around for it, but it helps. It helps a little bit. A lot of the movies he's been able to give input on that he's been a part of, there's a good amount of them that have been received very well and that were done really well. There has been instances where Stephen King's input was a little more silenced, but it was still utilized, i.e. The Shining. Stanley Kubrick is a different dog. He was like, no, I'm doing the movie the way that I want to do the movie. But he still reached out to Stephen King throughout the process of the movie being made. To not want to even reach out to these people is very concerning. Like, I don't understand the logic on that. And man, I really hope that it was bitterness from Bew in this. Like, I really hope. Like, I really hope. I don't think, but the thing is he put his foot so much in X-Men 97 because he really did that. Like, I like this one of those guys that feel like they like nerd, like passionately nerdy about the content. So I I feel like what he was saying was more from a place of passion than it was a place of bitterness for how things have played out with Marvel. Now, granted, he could have a lot of passion and there still could be a lot of bitterness.
It's like it's weird at the same time because you have Bo, I guess, in the Twitter thread, he has some comments as well. Like Marvel execs were weirded out because Chadwick Boseman stayed in what is it? What is the
The
word?
accent.
Yeah, he kept his Wakandan accent until they finished filming on a given day. So if the Marvel execs
Oh,
came
method
in and they
acting.
had a couple, yeah, they stayed in his role basically, and
Yeah.
Marvel execs kind of were weirded out by that. Like that's a weird thing to be weirded out by, unless you're a specific person of a specific complexion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is I feel like what a lot of Marvel fans had probably were scared of, because at some point in time, Marvel can only do so much. Disney is the one with the stick in this agreement. So once they start swinging that stick around and acting like they're the big man in town, it's barely nothing that Marvel can do. And especially if they're getting in the ears of Kevin Feige in the background too, bumping him up and everything, hyping him up and everything like that, maybe that could be actually be getting to him. I can see that.
I was just about to ask you, do you think with that being said and with the statements that Bo made in those tweets in regards to Kevin Feige and Lou D'Esposito, do you think that they are now or are becoming more Disney men than they are necessarily Marvel diehard producers?
It would hard for me to it would be hard for me to say because I feel like if they were Disney men, we wouldn't be getting any type of comic booky anything in the movie. And oddly enough, I feel like Fantastic Four is one of the most comic booky movies that we've seen from Marvel in some time. If I'm being
But
honest,
was that one of those things where they fought for it, like how Bo fought for X-Men 97?
that's what
Because if
that's
it's an
what
individual fight, that might not say that Kevin and D'Esposito are
Mhm.
like their minds are in the direction of we got to pay attention more to comic material. It could just mean that the director and the writer for these specific titles have
Mhm.
fought. They just fought, they fought tooth and nail and they won
I
for
think
whatever
it could
duration.
I think it could be them fighting. At the same time, if Kevin Feige was truly the guy that I'm guessing Bo is trying to make it out to be, or at least he's saying that Kevin he would be more inclined to listen to these ideas before, but now he's just not, or as of recently he's not. Fantastic Four shows me that it's a completely different. You might have to claw to get your viewpoint on it out, but it seems like you have Destin Daniel Creighton on Spider-Man. He has multiple Spider-Man covers for different issues in his director's office and everything like that. Like it seems like he's tapping into that. I think it's just the fact Kevin, he got to a point where he had to trust producers or directors to create these films without the severe oversight that he had before in the first three phases. That's when you got the Taika Waititi taking Thor to the level that it was at. That's where you get the Black Widow films. That's where you get the Ant-Man Quantumania films. All of these things. So I think he's doing it, or at least he's reining it in for a specific purpose. because I think Kevin actually reads the comics. I know he doesn't want to have a one-to-one specifically, but I think he understands the need for comic book based material to be prevalent in these movies, and maybe for them to even be more comic booky. I think it's I don't want to say it's a
That's
part of the
yeah, I
business, but it's
agree. I
hard
do
to.
think that that's one of the parts where Bo is maybe being bitter.
Mhm.
Like just a tinge where the passion kind of turns over into bitterness, because it's like that's such a like really Kevin Feige is not trying to do anything with comic books, or
Mhm.
Lou D'Esposito is not trying to do anything with comic books
I think it's just
as the
Lou
heads.
D'Esposito. I think it's because I think Lou
But even
D'Esposito. I don't think
him,
he has any
even him, it's
background.
like, bro, but like even like honestly, I'm just saying both the heads, like the head
Mhm.
and the co-head, saying not like either one of them
No
saying
comics. Yeah.
no comics. Like, he might be right, but it just is very hard to fully accept that the heads of Marvel comics and Marvel content
Mhm.
is saying no comic, like none.
Mhm.
None. We don't even want to hear ideas that involve comics. I don't, if that's true, it's one of those things where like I would need like the Hollywood insider type behind the scenes thing, like set up to tell me that. I don't even think one person could fully convince me
Mhm.
that they like,
I think
nah, no comics. Like, bro, what?
it's just a hard place to be in because you don't want to cut off your directors or writers' ability to create something on the fly or just their creativity in general by telling them they have to base it off this thing and they have to have one-to-one for these features and this specific premise and everything like that.
And
That's
that's where
why
analytics come in.
he was also deeply involved in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I think took elements from the comics, but was able to blend
Twist
it
them.
and bend it in a way to a point where it's a new story.
Yeah.
And it's a fresh new story, still has comic book roots in it, but you know this is specifically Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. This is not Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man, none of those things. But you can see certain elements coming from those. So it's it's
Well,
hard for
yeah.
me.
To just kind of add on to that point, though, really quickly, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Mhm.
There has been instances where they have been successful telling a unique story. The Amazing Spider or the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, WandaVision. I don't know why that gets left out about WandaVision all the time. Why? What? There was elements that were similar to multiple comic books and things that had references to multiple comic books. But I don't think that I could be wrong, but I don't think that there was any one particular comic story that WandaVision was per se covering. And it
Probably a
ended up
couple.
telling a unique but it ended up telling a unique story. And it was well received. It's not that going that way is a problem. It's just the claim, right?
Mhm.
That there's no comic influence. I don't know. That's a hard one to sell me.
I don't know. It's
If he right, it's like a nightmare scenario to me though.
I feel like Kevin Feige's position is probably the best / worst position to be in right now. Because if you could take the comic book route and everything like that, and that still might not appease to everybody. You might give in to all of these people's claims and all of their stories, and them implementing them in the movies probably just doesn't resonate with the audience. And who's that gonna fall back on at the end of the day?
Kevin
That's Kevin
Feige.
Feige. So at
Everybody
the
point
same
the finger. When
time,
you the head like that, everybody do. The people in house and
Mhm.
the people out house, like
Mhm.
the fans and critics and
Mhm.
such. You just get the heat for everything.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
he hears what he hears what everybody's been saying. He sees the numbers. He sees everything with Marvel and how it's been producing as of recently, and he knows something has to change. I think Kevin is, I hope at least, he's smart enough to understand that. And it looks like they are making some changes and doing some different things with the movies. They probably still need to update the Marvel, what is it? What is the typical Marvel thing where somebody dies at the end of a movie or something
Yeah.
along that lines. It is a little cheesy. I wish he would give a little bit more creative freedom back to the directors. All you need to do really is get directors that read up on the content. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to
Directors and
surmise or
writers.
come up with a unique way and a new way and it not be one to one to the comics, but close enough where you understand what stories is coming from, what's is based on, and everything like that. But I think the
I was
last couple of
saying they
years,
denying them that.
I I think the last couple of years is the reason why. To be honest with you, after what Taika Waititi did to Thor,
Yep.
do you blame Kevin Feige for being like, nah, we need to rein this shit the fuck in? Like, let me know what y'all using in this motherfucker, and then I'll let you know if that shit's gonna work or not.
Yeah. There might
And then it
you know
seems
how
like,
like somebody tell you two truths, you know like the game two truths one lie.
Mhm.
That's what it kind of feel like with
Mhm.
what, like, he may have been telling three truths,
Mhm.
but it just feel like for every point that you get to, it's like, yeah, bro, you just giving me, you not necessarily lying, but you giving me like two truths and a half truth.
Mhm.
Like you just, and it might not even be your fault. You just might not know all of the details behind everything because of the level that you at within the company, you know, where you don't know more of the pressing, like you don't know more of the deeper, darker issues that might be tied to some of the decisions that's being made. That's what it, look at this mosquito. That, I don't know, that's what it feel like. Cause you brought up a good point. If these movies ain't been hitting, and maybe that was the period where there was more creative input on the directing slash writing side,
Mm-hmm.
would you be mad at Kevin Feige for being like, no, no, no?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
Now, if to your point, let's say that the control was during the time of like, oh, I gotta get this thing. Oh, it flew away. But let's say like during the time, it's smart too. It know to go by the computer. Let's say like during the time uh uh Tika Waititi's Thor, or Captain Marvel or Marvels, or Ant-Man or whatever, they were allowing the directors to have more of that control.
Mhm.
If that is the case, and then Kevin Feige decided, okay, no, I need to come back in and have more control, would that be wrong? But could that also be something where somebody like Bo in a certain position at the company can misconstrue that for he was allowed, like he was coming in and doing changes that the films didn't necessarily need, or having inputs, or having a level of criticism that the directors or the writers didn't necessarily deserve? Could he have perceived it wrong, but it was a response that if we knew all of the details too, we would say, nah, I can understand where he coming from. This thing want to bite me.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, bro, like it's let me know, like I'm coming for you. Would you just get away from me? I can't attend to you right now.
I
All right, does that make sense how I phrased it?
think so.
Yep.
How you feel, T?
I just want them to do better. Like I said, you have the source material. What they've done with many of these comics over the like comic book movies over the last 5-6 years, is leading to what people call Marvel burnout. Like they're just getting crap upon crap upon crap. Like literally, someone tells you, "Oh, hey, how's your day going?" Oh, same poop, different toilet. That's how I feel about almost every Marvel movie. That's literally how I feel. It's the same nonsense that they show us all the time. It's just a different setting. I just need them to take their time to like utilize your source material. It don't need to be 1-to-1, but at least make it somewhat accurate. I need them to like really listen to their writers' ideas and work with them.
It just made me wonder, like, maybe it was just mismanagement. There isn't any like specific person to blame. Because I'm sorry, but if what Bo said is true, bro, that's a nightmare to me.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm really hoping he just upset. I'm genuinely hoping he's just like
Just
upset
off
at them. Yeah, because like that is a nightmare scenario. If what he said is true, it's like, oh, we got some problems we got to sort out. And honestly, going back to the point that Rob was making and the point that he kind of drew out of me, it might have just been a combination of things. And what we're getting is what we're talking about, or when it gets to our ears, it is the perception of the response, not the facts behind the response that Kevin Feige, D'Esposito, and the different people in charge at Marvel are having. That's why I say, like, a lot of this stuff I try to talk about really loosely, because it's like, bro, there's so much I just don't know. Like, I don't know what it takes to make a movie. I don't know I don't know. Like, when we talk about CGI as an example, that's where, like, you see me go back to it a lot. I don't know what the budget. Yes, I know what I'm told, but I don't know what that means, really. I know the practice of the meaning. Like, I know marketing is used to promote the movie, right? I know that there is a subsequent budget that's given to do that. But the entire breakdown for that, for a Hollywood film, I don't know. So it's like, what we get, we don't know what's been manipulated. We don't know what's been omitted. We don't know what's been misunderstood. We don't know. So I don't know. I don't know, but I'm just hoping what Bo said isn't like 100% accurate. And like if somebody else were to come out and be like, yeah, everything he said was absolutely true, that worked at Marvel. Oh boy.
Yeah. I think
That would
just with a couple of people, from the guy who wrote the Spider-Man animated series, from the Fantastic Four writers, from it seems like Spider-Man writers, so on and so forth. It does seem like we are starting to get back into a point where Kevin is actually starting to give more creative freedom to the directors, even with everything, like, his hands are still tied behind his back. Spider-Man, they probably can't do every story that they ever wanted to do because Spider-Man still is technically under Sony's supervision. Disney probably, and this could be just because of Hollywood in general, where it's just still sadly enough, people don't have too much faith in abstract or not normal ideas. If it's not white, just like we were hearing about Perlman, and we talked about him last week, but after further consideration, after a week, fuck that nigga. All right. Nonetheless,
yeah, he was bad. Even Bo in this tweet, like,
he talked about
when he was responding, he said, no, that guy is just, he said, I wish that he wasn't as bad as he is, but as far as I can tell, and most people can tell, he is just a bigoted individual. Yeah.
And that's the crazy part about, because anybody who knows comics knows that the people who wrote the comics wanted to fight the bigots and that ideology and that those viewpoints within their works, especially from Marvel, especially from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and all of them. Reason why they made Miles Morales and all of these different
reason why
people
they
in Blue
made
Marvel.
X-Men.
The X-Men,
When you talk about Stan Lee, like that's a perfect example of what you're saying. Is just the entirety of the X-Men.
Do I see if Bo DeMaio, from what he was saying, was all of this shit or most of this shit happening? I can see that in the previous time, probably most likely even when he was still working there at X-Men 97. But Bo has been out of there for quite some time. I don't know how many connections he might have at Marvel. He could have a plethora of connections that keep him in a loop. Nonetheless, it does, from at least my standpoint, it does seem like Kevin has even heeded some of the warnings that Bo has even given out. And it seems like he's giving the people that he trusts the opportunity to shine. That Daniel Destin Creighton again did crazy, phenomenal on Shang-Chi. All right, brother, you proved us right. You get the reins for Spider-Man. I'm obviously oversee it, but I believe that you'll be able to direct this movie how it's supposed to. You got the writer, I believe, from Thunderbolts writing Blade now, Eric Pearson, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, he wrote that. Thunderbolts, pretty good movie. So hopefully, and he wrote Fantastic Four First Steps, or had some writings in it, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Eric Pearson. I know you. It seems like you read comics. It seems like you up to date with it and everything like that. Write me a Blade story that I could actually get boogie with and everything like that. It is sad to hear Bo DeMaio because it does seem like he has great ideas.
Yeah.
And if Marvel was, I guess, or even Disney was a little bit more of a progressive studio, which you would think that they were because it's fucking Disney, but from the outside looking in, but from the inside looking out, it don't seem like it's progressive at all. It seems like it's still keeping the same status quo. That is the reason why Hollywood is actually destroying itself from the inside out, basically. You have all these actors who go for fine arts, go to college, usually have a more progressive view on things. And then you couple them with writers or directors that probably, or studio heads.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the writers and
producers
directors on the same side
are on the same
of
side,
the
yeah.
more progressive, yeah.
And then you got the producers and all of that jazz, the big wigs, who probably have too much money to even think about progressivism on any front, where they're just like, fuck that, just make something that kids will like, that we can sell toys on, and that's all I want from you niggas. I don't want any compelling stories. I don't want y'all to go to the comic books, which he did bring it up. It seems like what's his name, James Gunn, he did bring on writers from Superman, I'm guessing, and helps with creating the Superman movie, which I can understand from Bo's point in that instance.
That's
Maybe
the part
Marvel
that's
does
scary
need to open
too.
up a door.
I'm not gonna lie to you though. That's the part that kind of made me think, okay, maybe. And when I said before, I don't know whether he was saying this with any level of bitterness. When we got to the DC part, I was like, okay, if he just sings the graces of DC with no logical explanation, just automatically starts singing how good they are, then I think that this is just a bias towards Marvel. But it didn't really feel like he did that. He gave concrete reasons as to why he thinks their direction on the comic book story and comic book take feels like it's a step in the right direction. And that's where I was like, oh, because if that's so crazy, like,
if James Gunn ends up hiring Bo DeMaio over on his,
I think that it might happen.
And I don't know what story, what comic book character he would write over there in DC. Probably a cyborg, possibly.
Static, give me Static.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was just about
even
to say, I could see, depending on how his relationship. Yeah. Oh, it's no Image.
James Gunn said no Static.
Why?
It's
Not,
probably
inter-
that means it's
not
Image,
interested
then.
in
I
Static.
think
I
it's
think it's
all
still under.
Image,
Yeah, I
then.
think it's still under Image Comics.
It's a licensing issue then too. That's the reason why.
Mm.
But okay, so if we can't do anything Image, because I was just about to say, Bo probably would go crazy on the entirety of Image. If I was James Gunn, I would be like, yo, go knock that out. Like, go, here's the whole division. But if it's still contractual kind of tie-ups there, then
Yeah,
and we
it's the
taking that
same.
away.
It's the same complexities as Marvel and Sony for Spider-Man.
I'm not gonna
For the
lie. I
rights.
feel like after this Superman movie, there is an opportunity for, if not a Mr. Terrific movie in the future, like second phase for DC, the Terrifics, the entire team. And I'm not gonna lie to you, after us seeing what Bo DeMaio did with a superhero team, albeit it was animated, if you got him for that project, we might be on something. Might be some heat there. You give him a team that is led by Mr. Terrific, and you let him flesh the script out with the comic book knowledge. All I'm gonna say is it would not shock me if we end up seeing Bo DeMaio writing something, especially if he win the lawsuit. I don't know what that whole thing is looking like, but if he wins this lawsuit and it becomes public knowledge and it starts to character correct some things that's happened with Bo in the past,
Or settlement.
yeah, or settlement, then at that point, I think that, like, I really feel like that's where James is gonna be like, okay, yeah, you ain't got no dirt on your name. It's no heat over here. So yeah, why don't you come over here? You've had success. You've voiced your grievances.
Technically, he would have went through the same thing. Not the same thing, but
Exactly.
close enough. Close enough.
That's a fact. I just forgot. As soon as you said that plus, I was like, wait a minute. Didn't James Gunn go through this? Yeah. So
enough.
close enough to where there could even be like a kind of sympathy card that could be played from in James Gunn's mind. Like, you know what? I went through this. Let me extend the offer the same way one was extended to me. I think it's like there's more of a likeliness of it than there is an unlikeliness. But it all depends on, I think, how this lawsuit portion goes. Because if the script can be flipped where the stain, there's still a stain on his name, right? Because it's just how the world works today. That stain is not going to completely go away. But if you could take some of the pressure of that stain off of you and place it on the company that you were hired with, that the accusations and such were called from, it can. I'm not trying to say that's right. I'm not speaking on morality, right or wrong, anything like that. But in the social world that we live in now, there is a possibility that can kind of make it to where people are more accepting and willing to see you again.
Now, I got a question. I got a side note question. Bo DeMaio or Ryan Coogler doing a Static Shock film if the legal stuff fall apart and we actually get a Static Shock movie? Would you rather see a Static Shock animated series with Bo DeMaio doing it or a live action with Ryan Coogler writing it?
Say that again.
Which one would you rather choose if James Gunn gets the
Bo DeMaio or Ryan Coogler?
Bo DeMaio doing an animated or a live action Ryan Coogler movie?
I'll take a Bo DeMaio, just because of how he did X-Men '97. Static Shock, I feel like you need to have it in a medium as a show. I feel like that's where it thrived at before. Like, it would be weird if they brought back X-Men '97 as a movie format when it's always been a show. And then trying to build back all that hype that the previous show had in like a hour and so or 2 hour and so time limit, where the show could actually let it breathe for a little bit, all of that jazz. I think Bo DeMaio, it might behoove.
I got it mixed up too. It's not Image. It's Milestone. That's who I'm thinking of. Milestone Media, which is the one that did all of the black. I think I agree with Rob for the simple fact of the Milestone Media comic books. They need to build them out so people just know what they are. Like, until that happens, I feel like unless they tried to tie Static Shock into, like, let's say the Blue Light or the what is it, Blue Lightning? What's his name?
Black Lightning.
They made that crappy CW show. It's Blue
Black
Lightning.
Black Lightning.
Yeah, Black Lightning. Black Lightning. Can't even remember his name. But Black Lightning, unless they tried to tie it into the Black Lightning mythos in the DC landscape, they have to flesh out Milestone as a whole more. And maybe a better way of doing that would be to have an animated series featuring this entire branch. And if we have enough popularity around it, moving it into live action with the character, with Static being, since Static is the most beloved and known, having Static be the one that's kind of like the highlight one. But there's a lot of characters from there. I think another one was Icon. I'm not sure if Icon is from Milestone, but if you had Icon, that's like Black Superman. That was something where there was ideas and talks from Warner Brothers of doing that before with, it got thrown out immediately, but doing it with Michael B. Jordan. If you were to give me an animated Static Shock that went well, maybe some other characters that I don't even know of from Milestone, and then you had like a Ryan Coogler produced Icon.
I think that would go
that is getting my interest. That's getting my interest. Then when we want to do the live action Static, maybe you do that a couple years later, and you could also have Ryan Coogler do that.
Right.
That's the way to do it, in my opinion. But would the best way to do it would probably be go see if kids can hold enough interest in it, and the best way to do that is animation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last point on this Boat to Mile thing. I'm really trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like he brought up a point last December. Hey, Marvel Studios, please stop race swapping white villains to black people. It reads, quote unquote, funny. Kang, High Evolutionary, Norman Osborn, Electro, Mordo. But then a lot of people were saying that, hey, Bo, you actually had a white actor play Sunspot in X-Men 97 when he's supposed to be a person of Afro-Brazilian heritage. So how is it any different, type of thing? Different strokes for different folks. I'm not really too pressed that Kang was black or High Evolutionary or Norman Osborn or Electro or Mordo. I actually thought it was fire. Hey, but they're villains. I truthfully don't give a fuck. This nigga's not actually killing people in the real world. Nobody actually thinks this or anything. Maybe if you're coming from it from like a propaganda standpoint, where this is making kids feel like black people are villains for the most part. I don't necessarily see that.
I don't think that translates. Yeah.
But that's why I'm kind of like you said, it's probably a little bit of bitterness added into this. And I don't blame him. I honestly don't blame him. If you got fired from your job like that and got accused of sexual misconduct with different employees, and it was false, and you're bitter, then I don't blame him for having those feelings.
Right.
It's also hard for me to completely side with him because it doesn't seem like the employee that called for that or anything of that nature came out and said, no, it's not actually true. Me and Bo had a consensual relationship. I asked him for these pictures, so on and so forth.
Is that person still working with Marvel?
I think they kept the person. I don't even think they even named him.
That might play a part though. As to why you wanted to hurt anything is because they could be like, you're not talking about none of this.
I also know sexual misconduct is depending on how it is. people can claim like they don't want their name to be shown unless they
Yeah,
actually want to
the
find it.
outrage, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
so
don't
you
know.
get a lot of backlash whenever you do that,
It's a
which
slippery
is
slope, but
unfortunate. But
it's really something to keep our eye out on as Marvel continues. Because now I feel like now we're having a blueprint now of what we need to look, what we need to see from Marvel to understand if it's getting going in the right direction going forward. And now you got people like Rob Liefeld and Bo DeMaio, and I'm pretty sure a whole slew of writers, animators, all of that jazz that are pissed off at Marvel because of the toxic work environment, which they have the right again to view that way.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think that like this makes Win back to a person like Kevin Feige or Lou D'Esposito and has an impact?
Kevin Feige, I think so, yes. Because I think he's more attached to the people that he works with in comparison to the Lou D'Espositos and the higher ups and everything like that. Because Kevin Feige, it seems like pretty sure he got his starting off on the sets of X-Men and everything like that. The Fox X-Men.
Yeah.
So he's been able to build a rapport with everybody from the, I'm guessing, costume designers, makeup coordinators, fucking set personnel, all of that, from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high. Not to say that those people are low, just low on the totem pole in their work environment. Um, it seems like he's more familiar with that, so he has a better appreciation for those people. And it was a lot more recent than I'm guessing other people such as Louis D'Esposito and Pearl Meyer or Pearl Mayer, whatever that fuck nigga name is. Um,
So much animosity.
I think it matters more to Feige than the higher ups over at Disney or the ones that were notified to be there by Disney at Marvel.
Man, I don't want to think
I hope so.
D'Esposito is bad.
I
I really don't. I really don't want to think he's bad for
Yeah.
Marvel.
we seen some shit from that MCC that them niggas was going crazy, and he was a part of it too.
That's what I'm saying.
So maybe all these niggas and fucking Brian Michael Bendis was a part of that team too.
Really?
And they coming up with some crazy shit. Yes. So I'm
wow.
sitting there confused. Like even one of the comic book writers was going crazy too. Like I don't know. I don't know how to feel about all of this. The only way we'll figure out for sure is if Marvel keeps wetting the bed with these films, then we'll know that Bo DeMaio and everything that he's saying, it came to fruition. The toxic work environment was just too bad for writers of actual cojones to be able to build their own stories, and now Marvel is faltering, and DC takes up the reins because they're able to make that connection with
It really,
with the
yeah,
writers
like
and all that.
honestly, it really will. If you see a shift in the quality from Marvel to DC, yeah, I agree with you. I think that'll say it all right there, because I know, yo, this is what Rose was getting at. I think this is what he was kind of talking about a little bit. Is don't sleep. Maybe James Gunn might get this together. He might get it. Like I'm optimistic until I don't have a reason to be optimistic. And I'm not even gonna lie, the 2026 slate, that might be the year to show it.
We got Clayface
If
and Supergirl coming out.
If Supergirl come out and it end up being something you
Good.
never expected it to be. Yeah, like good, but also something you never expected it to be. Right? And then Clayface is like not the same movie, but just kind of follow me. Vibe wise, the same like aesthetic, the same reverence as like when Joaquin Phoenix Joker, the first one, not the second one, not the Folier, but the first one came out. If it's like that, but the horror version of that, as opposed to like the drama version. And then let's say that it's so good, it's also being able to command like, I know we do the numbers thing. I don't like it, but I know that we do the numbers thing. Let's say Clayface surprise everybody. 750. Cause and Supergirl get like 5, 6. Yeah, 5, 6. Which Superman already passed 5. So saying Supergirl, especially if it's good, getting between 5 or 6 is not, that's not crazy. And then let's say because Superman was good, because Supergirl was good, because horror has the ability to command. I don't know where I was seeing this at, but somebody brought this point up. They said horror is the one genre that's going to get its fans to come out to see their movie. It don't matter how bad the movie is. We're going to go see them. And it's true. Like if it's something where it's enough hype behind it.
Terrible, but people want to go see it.
People went to go see it. So if you got James Gunn might be low-key a genius. I don't even know, bro. I don't know. I'm starting to kind of see the light a little bit with this James Gunn stuff. But if Superman can get 560, something like that, let's say Supergirl is also good, commands a 600, right? Mind you, they hitting the numbers that Marvel ain't hitting if that's the case. And then Clayface come out because of the success of the last 2 movies and because it's a horror movie, is able to drive it up to 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say Spider-Man, we already have high hopes with Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man is just like Batman for DC and classically how it's been. It's just Spider-Man is one of them ones. Like it's just that one. I don't think that Spider-Man would be bad. But if that Doomsday movie has these flaws that we are worried about, not saying that it will, but it has these flaws that people have been having gripes about, that Bo DeMaio has been expressing, that some of the writers and directors behind scenes have been expressing. If that is noticeable in December, but I think I think for real, as long as James Gunn could keep it going, then mind you, he the only one I know so far that's got a series coming out in 2026 with Lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
So DC really would be putting like, that's a good round. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you won the fight, but that's one of them rounds where you like thought that I like when you see Terrence Crawford kind of get rocked up a little bit.
Yep.
That's one of them Terrence Crawford rounds. Was that really a pause moment?
No.
Okay.
Probably a little bit. Rocked up is crazy.
A little bit.
We let it
All right,
slide. We'll let it
pause.
slide.
Yeah,
Talking
okay.
all this,
I get it.
As
now.
we
Yeah.
see, box office numbers for Fantastic Four First Steps has taken another 60% drop.
Yeah,
From
you see,
last
like
weekend.
it wasn't even bad, but
Superman is at 57.5%, but still, it's.
I don't know. It may, and the other part is where James Gunn is really smart, is he's pushing the animated side. It's not like he's completely dissolving the animated side. There may be breaks in between what what content is which content, but I do think that I had to look at it again. But I do think that there are some animated things that's also kind of in play. Let me see if I can find the plans really quickly. I might be wrong.
Why you look that up? We're already on DC. We might as well finish it off on there because we went off on a tangent. New DC leaks. If you want to pull that up real quick, T. That's like 10 minutes. Might as well talk about that since we've been talking about DC. You said you had the animated. Why you look that up?
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm kind of thinking about this Bo DeMaio thing, though. I'm gonna put this in the chat as well. There was a scene that was supposed to be in one of the Spider-Man films, that was actually taken out of the actual film because of the studio's decision, and a lot of people are upset that they took it out. And this could be some of the reasons why the films just aren't resonating because they're taking out. It's cold. Times where I don't believe in Bo DeMaio, and there's times where I see shit like that where I'm like, damn it, this nigga might be right. Fuck.
I don't want to. That's to me though a nightmare scenario. So I really just don't want him to be. And then in regards to the animation, I was completely wrong. The only thing that I can see
Oh,
really is
I'm
Creature
sorry.
Commandos.
John Watts was actually the one who assisted on deleting that scene. My bad. I'll take it back. Whew. Okay.
Wait, who is it?
John Watts. That's the guy who directed the first 3 Spider-Man films.
Okay.
All right, y'all ready
Still,
for
they
the
taking the wrong things out.
y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
That's for the DC, John?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Big DC news, and it's a super big deal, but it's also like potentially very telling for what is going on with DC, right? Okay, so the Batman Part 2. We got our first details about the plot, the characters, the script coming from one Jeff Snyder, which by the way, did you guys know that Matt Reeves follows Jeff Snyder on social media? Look at this. It's crazy. Followed by Matt Reeves. The fuck? Jeff, what the fuck? Anyway. Okay, so Jeff Snyder put in his newsletter late last night the Batman Part 2 to shoot this spring. Sources say the script introduces Robin and really goes for it in a big way. This is from Jeff's newsletter, which, by the way, I subscribe to Jeff's newsletter. I recommend you do it as well. We got to support the people in the space that are actually breaking news, that are actually, like, unafraid of the studios, and that also, you know, post bikini pics on their Twitter and are absolutely goddamn ridiculous. So I love Jeff as is, and so I support him via his newsletter. This morning, David Zaslav sent a letter to Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders announcing that DC Studios boss James Gunn is already preparing to write the next installment of the Super Family, setting off a wave of fresh speculation about what exactly Gunn is working on. Zaslav also mentioned the 10-year vision for the DC universe includes shows like The Penguin, and he confirmed that the Batman Part 2 will finally start filming this spring ahead of its planned release, theaters October 2027. What? What the fuck? I sat down with a well-placed source this week, Matt Reeves, and asked about the Batman sequel, and this person told me the script was worth the wait. They described it as a big swing for director Matt Reeves and his co-writer Mattson Tomlin, and said that the duo is really going for it with the uncompromising sequel, which is expected to be as dark as its 2022 predecessor, which grossed $772 million worldwide. They also mentioned that the character of Robin is a part of the script, which should pique the interest of agents across Hollywood. I didn't press for too many more details, but it sounded like everyone at DC Studios is extremely pleased with the direction Reeves is going in with the Batman Part 2 now that the script has been turned in. Okay. So let's talk about the basics here before talking about the elephant in the fucking room, okay? Number one, it's super cool that it's worth the wait. We probably all expected that, man. I mean, I think Matt, you know, he takes his time with his scripts, but they're usually very good, very complex. So that's good. They're really going for it. That's interesting. I wonder what that means. In what sense are they going for it? Is it like spectacle? Is it psychological? It seems as though you're definitely going to get a lot of darkness. There were even some rumors that the first Batman film was way too dark and that DC pulled back on some of the mental health stuff with Bruce Wayne himself. Because it's like, you know, from the corporation's perspective, it's hard to sell Batmobiles and shit when the movie's trying to do like a deconstruction of Batman as a mentally ill product of society, right? It's like those two things don't necessarily match together. But it is interesting that it's going to be super dark like that. That's cool. This Robin thing is awkward. Okay, it's awkward. And I wonder if Jeff, I mean, look, does Jeff know that this is awkward? Like he didn't couch it in that way. It's not like he's necessarily bringing this up, but so here's the problem, chat, and we'll talk about this now. The only thing we really know about Gunn's plan for Batman is that it involves Robin, and not just Robin, but a very specific Robin. It involves Damian Wayne. It involves Damian Wayne, who's obviously not the first, second, or even third Robin, I don't think. He is a Robin that happens after Dick has aged and has become Nightwing. So, years and years into the future. And it is, of course, Batman's biological son, right? So Damian Wayne, biological son. That's literally all we know about the plans for the DCU Batman. That's basically it. That's all we know. Okay? So can you imagine if you're James Gunn, okay, and, you haven't read the script, right? You haven't read the Batman script. You're hearing about it. Other people have apparently read it. There's rumors out there, this, that, second, and the third. You haven't read it. And then all of a sudden, you read the script, and this motherfucker, Matt Reeves, is doing Robin in the Batman. Like, look, one of two things is going on here, okay? Number one, it could just be the case that they're merging. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's not that surprising. In fact, maybe Robin was put into Reeves' Batman because they do want to eventually bring those characters together, and maybe it'll be Damian Wayne. Maybe it'll be Dick, and then we'll see a time jump, and then Dick will be aged up, and then you have, like, the establishment of that relationship, and you have, Pattinson as the DCU Batman in the future, maybe older Dick, and then Damian, okay? That's the first possibility. The other possibility here, though, is that they are not working together. And if they're not working together, I got to tell you, man, if I was James Gunn and I read that shit, I would be fucking furious. I would be furious. Like, you're telling me that not only do we have another Batman that's already successful, and they're going to just continue doing this as I'm building a whole DC universe, kind of like without fucking Batman, because we don't want to have two Batmans at the same time. Gunn himself said we don't want to have those movies released within the same calendar year. He just said that. He was like, yeah, you probably wouldn't want Batman Part 2 and the DCU Batman to be in the same calendar year. And yet, Gunn continues to play kind of cagey about whether or not the merger will actually happen. Will Matt Reeves' Batman be the DCU Batman? Are they figuring that out? So, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Because I've seen a lot of people look at this and they're like, oh, they're obviously merging. And the reason people are walking away from this thinking that is because there's no fucking way they would do two Batmans and two Robins at the same time. That's insanity. That is legitimately crazy. So, look, maybe I get accused, and I think just in the fandom in general, we get accused of making mountains over molehills, of applying narrative to things when there's not a narrative there, maybe dramatizing things. I got to be honest, I don't know any other way to look at this than it's either they're working together or they're really, really not working together. Right? Because, dude, if I was Gunn, I'd just be like, Matt, I feel you, you got this big script. Can you just not do Robin? What if you just didn't do Robin? What if you just didn't have Robin a part of this thing? You know? Because that feels crazy to me. That just feels like the worst possible way that you're gonna fucking do it. The only thing that would be worse is if in this report from Jeff Snyder, it was, Matt Reeves wants to do his version of Damian Wayne. You know what I mean? It's oh my fucking God, bro. That's the only way it could be worse. So I just think it's really come down to they are either tricking us all and really working together, or they are really not working together. And there's all these little things, right? So I'm reminded of when Matt just dipped out from the fucking Superman preview. Do you remember the comments Gunn made, and you know, when you actually see the comments, it's not necessarily as bad. But he's like, I haven't read it yet. I want to try to read it on the plane, but I might fall asleep and all this. It's like little things. It just feels messy. It feels like there's like a little bit of like subtext. Maybe we're reading too far into it. Maybe everybody's just stressed and trying to figure it out. But like, dude, Matt Reeves shows up for the Superman premiere, and then he dipped the fuck out. Didn't do a single interview. Didn't answer a single question. He was just like, okay, see ya, you know? And it's like, what does that mean? I don't know. And look, here's the other thing. Like, I personally believe that Superman is doing exactly what it needed to do. I think it is operating well enough, considering the context, to warrant more and to make James Gunn the guy. I believe that. And I don't even like James Gunn, but that just is what it is. Like, the movie, to me, in my objective opinion, is doing numbers good enough to make him the guy, to make this the plan, and to do it. However, I gotta say, if I were Matt Reeves and I'm looking at the box office here and I'm like, this movie's not even gonna make as much as mine, and I came out pretty close to lockdown, if I were Matt Reeves, I can totally understand. I'd be like, my Penguin show got Emmys. Like, dude, they are in a pickle. Like, if they are actually fighting behind the scenes, they both have legitimate arguments to be the DC. Like, it's not like Matt, like, what's Matt, like, seriously, who could argue against Matt? Right? Like, his movie legitimately made more money than Superman. His show was more successful than Gunn's shows. Like, he deadass has every right to say, no, it should be me. At the very least, it should be us separately. You know what I mean? And to be fair, like, let me ask you this. I think the answer to this is obvious, but who needs who more, right? Who needs who more? Like, another way to think of that is, like, who has the leverage? I mean, I think Matt Reeves has all the leverage. Essentially, Matt, like, can force Gunn to either not do Batman for a long time or to try to compete with a already operating successful Batman. That's incredible leverage. And it's clear that Reeves does not need Gunn. His stuff was already working. Gunn is working too, though. Like, Gunn has a strong argument. Like, Superman is a very big success for them. Here's the way I would say it. I think Gunn needs Reeves much more than Reeves needs Gunn. But I think DC probably needs this to happen more than anybody. I think the fans need this. I think the company needs this. I think Matt should play ball. At the end of the day, I really do think Matt should just play ball. If he doesn't, I will not think ill of him. I totally understand it. I think he has every right to do that. He carved this whole path. Totally get it. But at one point, Matt was going to do a Ben Affleck Batman. He was willing to play ball with the old regime. I mean, maybe after the success, he's just less willing to. I don't understand exactly what's going on. But, like, dude, I think the obvious move here for the fans, for the companies, for the sake of the universe, is to merge them. I really think that's the move. But at the same time, like, I'm like a broken record here, but every time I think that, it's like, but also, yeah, Matty Reeves has every fucking right to just stand 10 toes down and just be like, I don't care about any of this corporate consideration. I don't care about any of this fucking bullshit fan bullshit. I'm in it to make my vision, and I do not want to compromise on that. Like, I completely understand that. So if that's what's happening, they're in a fucking pickle, dude. Can you imagine? And then the whole thing is, like, from Warner Brothers' perspective, right? Like, they just want it to all seem like it's all the same thing and everybody's getting along. It's such a pickle, bro. It's such a fucking pickle. And the other thing that's really funny about it, and I shouldn't say it's funny because, like, you know, it's a very serious thing. But the other thing that's, like, really funny about this is maybe I shouldn't say it. I just DC has an advantage over Marvel in the fact that Warner Brothers purchased the entire catalog years ago. And so they have access to all the different characters, okay? Marvel does not have that. Marvel had to like sort of sell off parts of itself license-wise in the 90s and slowly acquire them back. And they're still having issues with that with Spider-Man, Hulk, distribution, all sorts of stuff. What should be a clear advantage for DC insofar as Warner Brothers has all the characters is actually not able to be a benefit of them because of this situation. Like, dead ass. Like, I don't know, man. Like, somebody should probably break all this down to Matt and just be like, dude, look, he could just be like, I don't fucking care. But at the same time, like, you should probably just hear it all, Matt. Like, you should just hear this all because I don't know, man. At what point could you convince him? If he's not convinced at this point, I don't know. But goddamn, dude, DC should have the ability to just go. And yet they're not. The irony being, of course, Gunn had no problem doing that to Snyder, right? Like, he had no problem being, because Snyder would have been willing to continue doing his shit. And he had no problem being like, nope. But for whatever reason, they can't do that to Batman. I guess just because of the $770 million. Holy shit, man! It's crazy. So, yeah, that's the latest, guys. And I think this story is going to make some waves. I wonder if we'll get any clarification on it over the weekend or the next couple of days. We'll probably.
All right, quickly, how y'all feel about that? This kind of what we were talking about with like Marvel and how Bo DeMaio was talking about DC from the outside looking in, but it does seem like might have issues behind the scenes as well with the Batman, Matt Reeves, and James Gunn, so on and so forth.
I kind of feel the same way as he did, like Mercer too. Might as well just rock with one Batman instead of having two different ones. I get it. It's like a noir type story, and it's not going to be a part of the DCEU. But you're kind of creating a giant cluster with two Batman because you want to have some that watch one, some watch the other, and they're going to get confused when certain things happen with each Batman. When they're going to say, "Hey, I could have sworn they did this with Batman."
My only thing is it's going to be a little weird because it seems like James Gunn specifically wants Damian Wayans for that Batman. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really line up well with Matt Reeves' version of Batman because we've seen him so young. They're gonna have to do a huge time skip. Gonna have to bring in not only Dick Grayson if they're taking the comic book route, but also Jason Todd, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm pretty sure there was another Tim Drake. Robin as well. Tim Drake. Whatever happened to that Robin? Actually, I don't think about it.
They just all got new names, and then whoever is the youngest takes the name Robin.
Takes the Robin. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And then Matt Reeves was just a super grounded. Matt Reeves' Batman was just a super grounded Batman movie. It's gonna be hard for me to picture him in the same universe as the Superman and Mr. Terrific and Green Lantern and Hawk Girl and all of these people that we just seen. That's just me. How about you now?
So I actually disagree too with the idea of there being a merger. But it was a lot of consideration. The idea that James Gunn and Matt Reeves kind of both have arguable points for for continuing. Mm-hmm. They both have a great movie. They both have a great TV show. But ultimately, though, DC went in the direction of James Gunn. They wanted James Gunn to head this new direction that they're going on, but there's a lot of success that's come from Matt Reeves, so you can't exactly turn him away. What I think, this is my take on this. If I was Zafran at DC, I would say, okay, I'm going to keep these two at bay from each other, for until this next Batman movie comes out. When this Batman movie comes out, so, and what I mean by at bay is what Matt Reeves wants to do, you let Matt Reeves do. What James Gunn wants to do, you let James Gunn do. If the success of the second Batman is on the same level as the first one, and did they say they were doing a Penguin season 2?
I don't believe so. No.
No. Okay.
Let me check.
If this Batman is as good as the first one and as successful as the first one, I think you first. Nah, I'm gonna be a buck with you at that point. Even honestly, at that point, because that's too. That means that he would have brought close to like 1.4 billion in for DC. You can't just ignore that. I think you let him do his own thing in his own universe. What's like honestly, what like really thinking about it, it's not them taking a multiverse approach like Marvel did, right? But if they just had 2 separate universes, like essentially continuing the DCEU, even though it wouldn't be the DCEU because the DCEU is ended, it's over. But it would be like, that's why I always thought that Dark Noir, the only movie that came out from that DC Dark or DC Noir, whatever it was called, was Joker, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the only one. They should have never stopped doing that noir. They should have just kept that its own universe within DC. And I'll go a step further. If you can keep those 2 at bay, but keep them from being able to step on each other's toes. So if James Gunn wants to do a Damian Wayne Robin, I'm cool with the Batman if it happens to go into the side of having a Robin involved, them setting up like a Jason Todd, especially if it's a darker theme for the movie. Because then you could say, okay, Matt Reeves, you did we're not going, we wouldn't do on this version that James Gunn is doing, we're not going to have a Red Hood. But people might enjoy a Red Hood movie. It's a very popular comic book character.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just let you do it? The things that kind of don't fit the tone of James Gunn's, let's let him, he don't have to be the director of every single one of them, but let him kind of have his own wing. Mm-hmm. They don't have a rights issue like Marvel. It's not like you gonna run into anything. Unless it's Milestone, you're not going to run into anything. Why not just let him have his own, let him be in charge. Yo, you are the lead on the DC Dark or DC whatever. Right. The people who you don't, so like, as an example, say James Gunn goes, I don't want, going back to that whole thing that we were talking about with Marvel. What if James Gunn says, well, I want to have comic book people. That's what it's been so far. I want to have people on the set for the comic books, right? Mm-hmm. You could have Matt Reeves' version be, okay, well, we're going to go with unique individual stories that are strong director and written led, but are more unique. Like how Joker was unique. There's no comic book like Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips, I think his name was. Mm-hmm. Joker. There's not. Todd Phillips wrote that, directed that. You could take that route. You could go say, hey, Matt Reeves, I want you to go get the Todd Phillips of the world. I want you to go get these guys that's got an idea and go give me. Yeah, sure. James Gunn's version has Clayface, but that doesn't mean that there's a litany of characters in DC. They could go the Constantine route. They could, like, Matt Reeves' side could go the Constantine route. Matt Reeves' side could go the Angels and Demons side, going even larger than the idea of Constantine. You could have a lot of like the dark, like the things, again, just the things that you want to be darker, that have had darker tones. I think I was talking to you, Rob, and D about this, but there was just recently a really dark comic for Captain Atom in DC. I would love if you could get a Matt Reeves directed take on that darker tone with Captain Atom, something that it wasn't traditionally, as far as I know. I would like that. Maybe even villains. Give me a darker tone movie involving Ra's al Ghul if James Gunn doesn't have any usage of that character, or a darker tone for I'm trying to think what's a darker character. I want to say Darkseid, but that just is such a Justice League level threat that I don't think that that's something Matt Reeves would be able to do. But wherever there's a Deadshot, you know, or yeah, is that the one that the Teen Titans was fighting? And I always get them confused with the other one. It's like Deadshot and then it's Deathstroke.
The Slade?
Deathstroke is Slade Wilson, right?
Deathstroke, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe let him do a Deathstroke movie. You know, like, let's find the darker themes. And it's not to say that James Gunn doesn't have his, because we know Waller is coming out. We know Clayface is coming out. There's enough characters here. There's enough characters to go around where you could do the more darker tone. Maybe let him do not necessarily if he wanted to do a Justice League-esque movie, it doesn't have to be the Justice League, but let him do like a redo, because the one with Ezra Miller was terrible. Not Flash, but specifically that story for Flash. What was that? Was that Flashpoint? I don't know whether that was Flashpoint or not, but that story, right? Like, if you go and look at the comic book version of that story, if you even go and look at the animated version of that story, it is very dark. I would love if you made a story that was around the fallout from the Flash's decision, and you let that be on Matt Reeves' side. So you aren't necessarily, it's not a Flash movie, you feel me? Like, not specifically Flash, but this is the universe where he never fixed that decision. And you have these different darker elements in that. I think that might be and that's the thing. Can you afford to do both of them? Maybe not. Logistically, this might not work out, and I do understand that. But in that video, the point that was raised that I think was a really good point to raise. How do you tell this man? How do you not continue with him if he got 3 successful IPs within DC? How do you not? Just could they even afford Matt Reeves? Because both of them do, but we know James Gunn isn't going anywhere because of the position that James Gunn was elevated to. You know that this is a James Gunn show. But how do you tell Matt Reeves, we done? If 2 of his movies alone brought in $1.4 billion, that's the difference with. It's multiple reasons, more nuanced, but that's one of the differences, at least, that you can say exists between Zack Snyder and so far what we've gotten from Matt Reeves. It's like, bro, I don't think that they was bringing in $700 million. I know Man of Steel was, I think, one of the Batman versus Superman did, but we know why Batman versus Superman did. It's because you put in these 2 names and you put in Batman versus Superman. So we knew that was going to draw people. But not off of name, I don't know if Zack Snyder has had as successful of a movie as the Batman. Mm-hmm. So we can't really do the whole Zack Snyder compare. We can't do that. This is the only person who's been able to rival it has been it for in terms of critical success or box office numbers. The only 2 people who have been able to compete with each other in terms of those criterias, James Gunn and Matt Reeves.
Gotcha.
I don't know what you do with that. All right, I know we gotta wrap up.
Okay. I had a point about this, bringing it back to the Bo de Mayo type
Wrap
of
it
thing.
up. Brother want to sleep. Okay, get up.
I'm sorry. All right. I'll bring it up. I forgot it at this point in time, but we're just saying it seems like everything is a peachy and everything is a sunshine and rainbows over at DC. Might look like that from the outside, but we still don't know. And this is
We don't
James
know.
Gunn's first year technically in the
Yeah.
helm. So we will be back. Dan to Dan is on his half. It has reached a half season. Most recent episode, fire. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. Got you Yakuta.
Yeah.
You got the Sakamoto Days new episode coming out tomorrow on Netflix.
Mhm.
We appreciate y'all yet again. Episode 76 for stopping on by. We do have a teaser, the Spider-Man teaser, but we will most likely play that next week for our show. And D will probably be joining us back again as well. So we appreciate y'all yet again on all platforms. Please tap in, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button for us. We appreciate y'all, and y'all have a good rest of y'all week. Peace.
I want all the smoke. Yeah, running trash bags of that green, whipping fast, the whip color of cocaine. I'm independent, they in this minute to stop these dreams. On the road to riches, focus on the ticket, maximize my means. It's like nah, I'm just trying to float. There's a couple holes up in this boat. Dose my mind just so I can quote. They focus on the dollar, feel like I'm a migrant, just touch a new island. Every time I smoke, regardless, ain't no way I'ma miss my target.